order. Scott, do you need to take roll, or are you all set?
I got it.
Katie, got it.
Perfect. All right, and then I'll take a motion to approve the January 2022 minutes.
Actually, on those, there was a correction on the list of attendees. It still had vacant instead of my name, I believe. So that would be the only correction I would recommend.
That was my fault. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
We can make that correction.
You don't look vacant.
All right, so motion to approve with that amendment.
Moved.
Second.
Awesome. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, minutes approved. Next up, visitor comments. I don't think we have any visitors.
Nope.
Nope. Okay, then old business discussion about future commission opportunities for fundraising.
So I'll jump in on this to start with. I was looking at times and dates and race routes. And if we're still looking at race routes, I think the best thing that I've come up with so far, and I haven't actually got the police to buy into this yet fully, but is actually doing a July 4th race on the parade route right before the parade kicks off. Because then we wouldn't need additional police help that very busy weekend with community days when they're already overloaded on overtime, manning the carnival 4 nights in a row, plus doing all their normal street duties and such. So we basically just kick off at like 9:45 with the race. Parade that starts at 10, so they'll already have the streets closed off and such. Start right there at the library. The race could queue up on Orchard, which does not have anything on it for the parade, and then they'd step out, and actually the parade would start right at Orchard and Lockwood, run the normal parade route down to Gore, Big Bend, Elm, Glendale. And then I need to talk to the school, but to make it a full 5K, we kind of go up Colebrook, come in the backside of Hickson, around the Hickson building, down Ambrose Way, into the track, and do a half a loop on the track and finish in front of the home stands is exactly 3.1 miles of 5K. Wow. So we need to work with the school to see if we could use the track. They normally lock it up that day, so people are out there with fireworks and stuff, but I think we could probably make that work if I volunteer to lock it up when we're done, and then unlock it for them the following days. And we might have to pay a rental fee to them or whatever, but I think that would be pretty cool. People would actually get to run the parade route, which would be kind of fun. It would be a little kickoff lead into the parade, and it wouldn't take a whole lot of additional people power. We've already got parade marshals that could help us with the race marshaling, pointing people, go left here at this intersection or what have you. So that's my idea. If you guys think it's viable or not.
Fantastic. Yeah, I like it a lot. But I guess my question would be is, you said 9:45 start, 10 a.m. is parade start.
Right.
So I think we'd have a challenge if anybody was wanting to walk though, right?
So they'd have a 15-minute head start on the parade. So they should be able to stay ahead of the parade. But it could be something that we could look at doing runners only, or, just make it known up front that if you start falling behind, you're gonna have to pull you off.
Parade.
Yeah.
Pick up an instrument, join the band.
Yeah, right.
I like that idea a lot, Scott. I think it sounds great though. It's because it's saving all the manpower and doing it all at once. Plus, I think people would think it was kind of neat because they're running the parade route.
Totally.
And you have an audience, because people are always setting up.
All right.
Built-in audience, fantastic.
There's been quite a few running groups that have asked to do that in the past, and we've always told them no, and they've done it anyways because we can't really stop them from doing it. So it could be pretty cool. We'd probably limit the number, 300 people or so, if we, the first year, to make sure we didn't get crazy and get 1,000 people to sign up, and we'd want to do pre-registrations and not have people just walking up day of and trying to get in and things like that to control that first year to see how it would go. But I think that could be a fun time if I can get the other city departments, namely the police, to buy into it.
I think it sounds totally awesome. I have a couple of questions. One is, do we anticipate that anybody who needs or wants to be in the parade or be with people watching the parade would also want to run, and there might be a conflict? I don't know how many of those folks there might be. And then the other one is, if they're runners, would it give them time to get back to some version of the parade route if they wanted to watch the parade? They could always sort of hang out at the end of the parade and see the finish.
Yeah, that would all depend on how fast they run,
Yeah.
for each individual and where they want to get back to.
Right.
If they want to run the full race and then get back to, the library, Webster U area to the start of the parade, that could be tough, in a 15 minutes. You're only those absolute college level elite athletes are, running that 5K and, 15-minute marks. Most people are probably more like 30 minutes. Average person 30 to 40 minutes maybe. So yeah, they're going to miss the kickoff of the parade. But if they're trying to get back to Gore, they may have a
Usually don't see anybody till 10:30 then anyway. I mean, and totally valid question too, Tracy. I mean, what time did the police usually start set up there? If we were to say start at 9:30 instead of 10 or something like that.
Yeah, the earlier we get away from the parade, the tougher it's going to be. So they say they close the interstate there, 44 and Elm at 9:00, and then they start working from the middle of the route, kind of that Big Bend, Elm area, and working up towards City Hall, closing all those side streets and such, so that people can't drive all the way through there. And it takes them the better part of a whole hour to close the whole parade route. So starting to close it earlier than that then leads to everybody that's trying to drive in to get to the parade then not being able to get to their family and friends' houses to watch the parade or whatever. So we might be able to push it up to 9:30, but anything earlier than that, the police are going to give me a hard no on. I'm fairly certain of.
Totally.
I think the fact that you've had running groups ask you to do this before is a great sign. I think that a lot of people would be super enthused. You think it'll be too hot? I mean, it's Missouri. It could be 70, it could be 98, it could be,
That was my other thought. If you're not, normally these races kick off at 7 a.m., kicking off at 9:30 is a whole different, could be a little bit different ball game. It's a couple hours later, it could be several degrees hotter for sure.
Well, and if we get the advertising out, there's going to be people along the route. I have handed out stuff to people on the parade, in the parade, who look really hot. So there might be water bottles and things like that people might be sharing. So I don't know.
And we could put out a water station. The biggest part would be at the end of Gore, because the Gore is just a nice slow incline all the way up that parade route. So when you get that'd be roughly halfway mark. So when you get there, if we need a hydration station there, we can certainly put one out there.
Yeah.
I think talking about that part of it, I almost think it might be a good idea if it was not if it was adults only. I don't know if you could set an age limit where it's 16 and up. Because if it is that hot, kids just get overheated faster. I remember being in the parade one year as a kid and getting what's it called? Well, getting overheated and having to go into the Lions Club's trailers at the end of the parade because we all got so hot walking and doing cartwheels in the parade. But that is a good point with it being that time of the day, because most runners do get up early in the summertime or they wait until nighttime. I mean, a lot of them. And I think I just think it might be dangerous having kids run in the heat. That's just
I'm trying to think of the Lockwood portion at Turns Up Gore. I mean, is there any way we could do a fun run portion just for kids? They just do Lockwood with a parent and peel off or something. It might be just way more trouble than it's worth. I don't know if we could even do, or let them, bolt first and do their little fun run and then the adults start, but I don't know.
I think the first year we keep it simple and try to just limit as many
problems.
As we might have, I had staff even talking about, can we limit dogs and strollers and all that kind of stuff too, and just have it be, race participants only. I don't know. I mean, it just depends on what we're looking to do. I mean, and I guess we don't have to run a full 5K either. If we thought people wanted to get back to their parade watching stands earlier, we could make it a 2-miler and not go all the way down and finish all the way around the rec center and all the way around Hickson. Maybe they would just run to Schnucks or 44 and Elm and stop there at a 2-miler. They get done a little faster. They can turn around and go back up and watch the parade a little bit more. Might lose some of the more hardcore runners that want to run that are used to running that 5K and know what their times are for that 5K. There's not a whole lot of 2 miles out there. There are a few 2-mile races, but I don't know. There's a lot of options, but
Maybe we just
When do you-
like a get here and like you said, do just adults and go ahead and do the 5K, do it so we've got our police coverage, and then reevaluate next year if we want to, expand into,
When do you think you'll see or know if there's willingness from the police?
well, I can guarantee there's not willingness from the police. Whether I can talk them into it, I wanted to talk with you guys first before I broach the subject with them to see if y'all thought it was an okay time of day and day of the week on 4th of July to do it. I'll probably bring it up in one of our staff meetings. I don't know. I think I can get the police on board with it. But I can't say that they're going to love the idea when they first hear it. They'll probably love it better than if I ask them to do it on Saturday the 2nd and I need additional staffing, because then
Maybe you should start with that.
I'll probably start.
Or what about this?
I'll probably start with pitching the idea to the city manager and get her approval.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
And then we'll just tell they have to do it if she's on board with it.
to the extent that we're flexible, Scott, I'd be willing to listen to what they say, like if they say, heck no, we don't want any kind of a run. But if they say, actually, Friday is a weekday and you did a Friday morning, early morning run, that's actually easier on us than doing it before the parade. The parade, we've got all kinds of prep work, or something that we can't anticipate because we're Parks and Rec. I would love to hear their thoughts, because it'd be great to have them not in real pain about this, and just hating every minute of it, because I think we need them to make a good event.
Well, staffing's by far their biggest issue during that 4 days, because they have 8 or 9 staff members that are doing overtime 4 nights in a row. So with a department of our size, you have everybody that's already out on the streets doing 3 shifts throughout the day, plus now you also have everybody on overtime. So I'm sure, I would strongly think that they would rather do it while they're already there, because there's already folks there on July 4th for the parade doing overtime, versus on the 1st or the 2nd or whatever. But yeah, we'll certainly take the temperature. I mean, I was kind of joking when I said we'll make them do it, because they have guns. I don't make them do anything. So.
Sorry, I need to get up for a second. My cat just jumped on my desk and broke something.
Oh no.
So that's what I had on routes and stuff. Did anybody else, Tracy, did you get a chance to talk to your friend over at the
No, here's what happened. I asked about the opening of the total access in Webster. It's not technically on hold, but they don't have a firm opening date. And I asked about Roy. I did not reach out to him, because if you knew him, he's ex-military, he is on his game, and he will respond immediately. And so I really wanted to know the date before I said,
okay.
But I love this idea, because they could actually then have a float in the parade. We could offer them the earlier float spaces, because the run was sponsored by them, that kind of thing, or, you know, a quasi end of the runners or something like that. I think it could be really, really them, but I would probably need a definite date before I would reach out to him, just because he'll be on it immediately. But I do know that I did find out that Webster total access opening is soft right now, and I don't know exactly when they're going to do that. So yeah, but I'm excited to reach out to them because I think it's a great opportunity for them and for us. So.
All right. Any other thoughts on the race fundraiser?
Will there be
Well,
t-shirts?
I
And what's it
think-
gonna be called?
Undecided or yes and undecided. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that we do one of the higher end race pricing packages, like the hot chocolate run and things like that, where the initial fees a little bit more to get in, but you automatically get swag, versus like the Turkey Day run, we keep it really cheap to get in, and then we upsell you on sweatshirt or hoodie or whatever it is. So yeah, I think we just provide the race t-shirts for everybody in advance, or some sort of fun swag like that.
Well, and sell some on the side of those of us who are not going to run.
I'm not running either, so I'll be in that bright orange golf cart buggy thing that I drive around on.
Right. I'll be chasing my convertible again, probably. So. My own 5K.
All right, then on to new business.
It wasn't on the agenda, but I have 1/2 things I'd like to just bring up. One, so Tammy Hoyt, who's been on the commission for the last several years, has unfortunately needs to resign from the commission. So we have an opening, we have a vacancy that'll be available. So if you guys know anybody that you think would be good to be on this commission, then they can either reach out to me or Katie Nakazunu up at the city clerk's office at City Hall. She's actually the one that takes the applications, and then we'll set interviews with council. But we'll be looking for someone new.
We actually had a couple of applicants last time, so I would think maybe we could reach back out.
Great. And then the other thing that I'll just throw out there to think about, we had bumped our time back to 7 o'clock at night. And we moved it from Thursday to Wednesday for the school district, but then we bumped it back to 7 because when we moved it to Wednesday, Tammy interfered with Tammy's work. So if anybody's desirous to move times, make it earlier or anything, then you could discuss that at some point, or we could wait till we get the new person back on if anybody wanted to go back to 6:30 or 6 or noon, whatever. That's all I had for new business.
God, does it affect your hours? What time we meet?
I'll work when we have it, so I normally just flex my schedule around. Actually, we are starting in March. All the meetings are going to be back in person. There still will be a Zoom option for anybody that's traveling or can't make it or sick or what have you. But the city's moving all of their committee meetings, council meetings, and everything back in person. So,
does that change the mask mandate at the gym, or is it still up?
That's coming up soon here. I'll get to that in my staff report if you can wait on me a few minutes.
I will be patient. Are we ready to move to the staff report?
Sure. Am I up first or is Sarah up first? I don't remember what I put on the agenda.
Sarah is.
Yay. I'll keep mine short. Just wanted to let folks know we had to change the name of the proposition that's going on the ballot in April, from Prop C to Prop W. This is the charter initiative, the charter commission, if we want to convene a charter commission as a community. There's already a Prop C that will be on the ballot from the county. So just to avoid any confusion, we are changing ours to Prop W. So important to know the difference. And yeah, I was going to mention also that meetings will start to be in person again, including council, where public will be allowed to come to meetings again. but we'll still have the Zoom option for everybody there and for public comment as well. So you're still able to make comment even if you're not able to be in the room, but and those meetings are still recorded and will still be available. So yeah, so lots of big stuff coming up with the election in April. As I mentioned, there's a charter commission question on the ballot, and there's also going to be a use tax question on the ballot again. This one's a little different than last year, but it's a much more automated process now that the state has their ducks in a row and the legislation is passed at the state level. So there's no kind of onus on business owners or individuals to have to manually file use tax reporting or anything like that. So that will be on the ballot as well. And as I think I've mentioned before, there will be 3 council seats and also mayor on the ballot, in addition to school board candidates and other municipal issues and county issues as they come up. So lots to be watching for there. The city is hosting or League of Women Voters actually is hosting a candidate forum, and that's on March 30th, I believe is ours. Sorry, there's one for the school district and one for us. That's actually, sorry, March 30th is the school board candidate forum. And that'll be at Hickson. And then the candidate forum for city candidates is actually March 24th. And that's going to be Browning Hall Auditorium on Webster U's campus. So different location this year. Lots of, there's an ability now to submit questions for both of those forums in advance online if you'd like, so they can have those in the queue ready to ask. But I'm happy to take questions or move along to Scott's update.
Reading the paper, and I know we've talked about it in the past several meetings, but the deficit that this city, it sounds like, is running. Has there been any updates there or any new plans or?
Well, there's a lot going on budget wise. I think it depends on which pages of the paper as to what your take is on that. Yeah, I mean, definitely there's a lot of preparation happening for the budget, and the departments will be, department heads will be presenting again this time about the needs for their departments, but also their recommendations for making cuts over the next few years, ways to reduce spending for each department. And, and also obviously the American Rescue Plan funds are going to come into play at some level, depending on kind of how those end up getting spent between general fund budget items and any special projects that get decided to do there. And so on that note, the Balancing Act tool that we had put out on the city website, I think is closing this week. It may have actually closed today.
Today, but very soon.
Okay, so if you had hoped to get in there and kind of look at the different options for spending that are kind of under consideration, or add some new ones, or make other comments, that's still out on the city website, but will be, yeah, I think by the end of the week, I'm pretty sure it closes. And that's it's just a handy tool to kind of see, what choices that we have to make and where you would make your choices. And we'll be reviewing, what we see from the public on that as another piece of input to consider as we make those decisions. So it'd be great if you wanted to participate to do that. And also we're taking kind of separately but connected. The Business Development Commission has put out a survey to all the business owners in Webster to take their feedback on what they would like to see, like in terms of changes, what works well, what doesn't. And some of that will play into some of those budget and funding decisions as well. So there's a lot going on in terms of kind of prepping for budget season. And so that will certainly you would hear more and more about that as we get closer to the summer.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Back to that.
All right. Well, to get to Ben's question about mask mandates. So if y'all hadn't seen St. Louis County Executive Sam Page this morning at his press conference, said that the county will be lifting its mask mandate Monday morning at 8 a.m. They are going to be coming out with a series of recommendations for people to still recommended to be wearing masks at times when indoors or what have you. They haven't published those as of last time I checked, which was about 3 o'clock this afternoon. So once they publish those, the city is going to be following that too. The city has been underneath the county's mask mandate as the public health department that the city is under. So we've been following that order. Once they lift it, the city will lift it too. We'll take a look at what their recommendations are, likely follow those same recommendations, but we could put some different recommendations on as well. So yes, hopefully Monday morning at 8 a.m., those individuals wishing to not wear a mask in the rec center or city hall or other city buildings may be able to not do so. And we'll have more details on that will come out through all of our Facebook pages, the city's social pages, and we'll update all the signage around the rec center and whatnot as well. So hopefully that'll get more people back in the rec center for programs, classes, memberships, daily admissions, and that kind of stuff. Good news is I'm deep in the budget process, so the department heads have to submit our department operating budgets and revenue projections for fiscal year 23 next week. So I have turned mine in by Monday. So I'm nose deep in budgets over the last week trying to figure it all out. Good news is since the new year, our revenues have actually gone up quite a bit. We are seeing, it's the beginning of the year, so you kind of expect our fitness memberships and daily admissions and stuff to spike up a little bit, but it's actually done much better than I had anticipated. So I believe last time we talked, I was talking that we were still only in the 36, 38% revenue. I'm looking at now projecting that we're going to have a surplus revenue above our projections for the year. It won't be by much, $5,000 or $6,000, but I was looking at not hitting our budget estimates, and now I'm looking at surplus. So that's fantastic. I only anticipate that will get better if the mask mandate is lifted and stays lifted for a while, and we don't have another variant that pops up a month down the road and shuts us all back down again. So that's fantastic. It's not going to get us back to pre-pandemic levels for this year, but I'm going to be up, about $140,000 over last year's revenue. So we were definitely moving in the right direction. I don't believe we were done with the comp and classification survey last time we met. So the city's been doing a comp and classification survey for all the city benefits, salaries, and such, comparing our packages against other municipalities and even some similar businesses around the St. Louis market and nationwide. Parks and Recreation actually came in pretty low. We were one of the lower paid departments in the city, as well as regionally, as much as 30% below for some positions. So the recommendation from the consultants and from the city manager is to try to bring all those city employees' salaries up to the market rate for our area, which would be quite a benefit for my department particularly, but a lot of our park laborers are really, it's been tough to hire new ones when ones leave. It's been tough to keep some of them around. We just haven't been very competitive wage-wise. So being able to bring those up will be a great benefit to us. I'm also looking to try to get our part-time wages up above 14, maybe even as high as $15 an hour for next fiscal year. We're currently only at $12.33 an hour with minimum wage is $11.15. So we're not very far above, about $1 over minimum wage right now, but we're just running into the same problem with attracting new staff and keeping current staff at that level. So if we can get those rates up, unfortunately, to do that, to add both those salaries up, I have to keep expenses the same. So we're looking at ways to shave some expenses here and there. As of right now, I'm not looking at any service level cuts or anything like that. We're just probably delaying and deferring some expenses, some purchases that we may not necessarily need. So But I'm not all the way done with it yet, but I think we're still looking pretty good for next year, and for the rest of this fiscal year. Any questions on that budget? I know I just talked and I didn't really give you any hard figures and facts, but Tracy?
Yeah, just a quick one. I watched that last council meeting, so this is for you and maybe Sarah as backup. Do any of those proposed changes in long-term compensation for employees that the city manager outlined, with respect to like sick leave, that sort of thing, does any of that impact any of the Parks and Rec employees, or was that just fire and police?
No, it's all city employees. Yes.
Okay, so how many does that affect in our department, your department?
Oh, well, affects all of us. So the sick leave and vacation leave and is all of our full-time employees, which is 20 full-time employees. And we actually had a few benefited part-time employees. Parks and Recreation has been able to give some benefits to some employees that are over 20 hours a week, averaging on an annual basis, have qualified for partial sick and vacation leave. So it affects all those folks as well.
Are they okay with it? Are you hearing any big discussions about it, or do you anticipate any kind of fallout from it, or is it going to be okay?
It'll be okay. Yes, there's fallout. Yes, there's lots of discussions, but it really depends on where a given employee is at in their career path trajectory. Those folks that are nearing retirement, it can affect greater than myself. I've still got a decade to go, or someone that's just coming into the workforce. It's not going to affect them as much. Those folks and myself will be able to recoup any of that vacation and sick leave that we're not going to get maybe paid out for now, and higher wages on the front end. So it's really probably more beneficial for us to get paid now versus maybe getting paid later. But those employees that are like a year or 2 years away from retirement, they're losing some of those benefits and not having a whole lot of time to recoup them with the increased salaries. So just kind of
most of them are holding on. They're in that group that would be like over a certain age, and if they've been here long enough, I guess.
Right. So if you're over 50 and you've been here longer than 10 years, then you still retain the sick leave payout. But
you can't accrue new.
You can't accrue new. So if you
Right.
use any, you won't get paid out as much. And same with vacation. You don't lose any vacation, but they can't carry as much vacation. So they have to use some of it down. They won't be able to accrue it back up as fast or as high. And so then you don't get paid out as much upon separation or retirement. So yeah, Tracy, it's a good question. There's certainly a lot of discussions with staff about it. Some folks liked it, some folks didn't, some folks were happy, some folks were angry, but we'll all get through it. And it's just something the city needs to do. There's quite a bit of unfunded liability out there, and it needs to be brought up.
Just adds to your plate, probably just talking with all your employees and making sure everybody understands what's going on. And
there was lots of discussions. Yeah.
Well, thanks. And I just didn't know what the age breakdown is of the whole department, and I knew that it mattered in terms of who gets what. And so, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, there's a few people that I've got a 20-year employee, but he hasn't been here 10 years yet. So he's been here 20 years, but he's been here 20 years, but he's not yet 50. So he's not going to be eligible, even though he's worked for the city for 20 years. But since he's not 50, it means he's got another 10 or 15 years or plus to go before retirement. If he's getting higher wages for the next 15 years, that's easily going to make up for not getting paid out for 50% of 1,000 hours of sick leave or something. So it kind of it'll all work out in the wash.
Yeah. Thanks.
Welcome. Some park stuff or big recreation stuff going on rather. Camp Luigi registration is now open. So anybody with kids, camp is open. You can start signing up now. We're anticipating a full normal camp, coming to the pool a couple days a week, doing field trips, the whole thing, trying to get back to as much from pre-pandemic COVID-y stuff that we've had to do over the last couple of years. We'll obviously still try to, do our best with sanitation and staying, kids not sitting on each other's laps the whole time and whatnot. But, we're trying to make it just another fun, normal summer camp. So that's open right now. We've actually got quite a few registrations already coming in. And we should be taking our new brochure to the printer, hopefully end of the week. So that will be available online about 10 days later. So be on the lookout for that. We'll post it up on all our socials, and we're not mailing them to every residence again, but we will have hard copies available at City Hall and the rec center if anybody wants them. And if anybody calls in, we will and requests it, we will mail one to you. But we're just trying to save the postage and save the printing since we've seen that most people just look at it online or go through our registration software, which is also online. Those are my big hot ticket items, so I'm happy to answer any other questions anybody might have. All righty.
Can I
Just as-
answer the question that nobody's asking, but everybody is dying to know? It looks like school is canceled tomorrow. So.
Yeah.
All right. My daughter's ears just perked up from the other room. Not your school.
My children are homeschooled, so they will have school tomorrow.
Can we circle back for 2 seconds to the run? Are we going to confirm the date probably at our next meeting? Because I would love to reach out to Total Access if everybody's up for that before then, just to give us more time to court them and try to pull down some money from them and make that happen. So is there a way to confirm that date prior to then, or if it looks like it's going to be a go, I want to talk to them sooner rather than later?
Yeah, I'll see what I could do. I'll have a department head staff meeting on Monday next week. And so I will likely try to bring it up then. Now that I've got your all's buy-in for that date and time, I'll try to bring it up then and see if I can get an answer then, or at least start the discussion so that I can get an answer the following week or so. And if I do, then Tracy, I'll go ahead and reach out to you and let you know that we're a go there, and you can go ahead and ask your friend if he would like to be involved in helping to sponsor that.
Great.
And if he wants to get together, if he thinks he's willing to do that, then I'm certainly willing to talk with him and customize a package, sponsorship package that he feels like it would be beneficial to him, with logo on t-shirts and race information, packets and all that kind of stuff as well. So
Would it be helpful to reach out to any other medical folks in the community to see if they would want to co-sponsor as well? I mean, I would think that we could reach out to, there's family practitioners, chiropractors, all kinds of folks. I'm happy to sort of compile a list, or if you guys have ins with anybody like that, what would you think of doing that? And, we could have multiple sponsors on the back of the t-shirt as well.
Absolutely. The more the merrier. I'll never walk away from the green. So if they want to write a check, I'll figure out a way to make it work for them.
Okay, great. You guys,
I would be willing to help you, Tracy, with phone calls to some of those places if you got a list.
that'd be great.
Yeah, I
I'd
wouldn't mind doing that. Seeing if people wanted to.
Scott, you're on the Business Development Commission too, right? Or
I am not.
You don't meet those? Okay. Just didn't know if they would have any inkling to participate in that kind of outreach.
It's possible. Yeah, I can certainly bring it up. Eric Peterson, the assistant city manager, sits on that board as the staff liaison. And then, Mickey from my department sits on Chamber of Commerce. So we can certainly reach out to both of those groups and let them know that if this ends up being a go, that there's sponsorship opportunities for all of them. And I've got a little bit of a sponsorship package for community days in general that we've used in the past. So I just need to refresh it with, this information and update the year and things like that. So there's several different packages that are already on there, and it kind of lists details what you get for 5,000 or 2,500 or 500 or whatever it might be. So
Yeah.
although Tracy thinks she can get more than 5,000 from him, then I'll customize a brand new one just for him, and not show him the general one. That 5,000 is our highest level. I've just never gotten anything higher than 5,000.
But does the commission, do you know, have like email addresses for all the businesses in town then?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer for that. I do feel
They
like
have-
there's a list there somewhere.
Yeah, they have a directory, I think, and so like there should be. I mean, they've got a distro list of some kind that they communicate via. So somebody's got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be a good update for Eric maybe to take to them, just that we're doing this and what their interest might be to sponsor.
Hit up the new businesses. I think the ones that are new would definitely might want to get their name out there.
Yeah.
It's also maybe not a bad idea to hit up the candidates, because
Good point.
Although it'll be after the election, so
oh, never mind.
Yeah.
How about the election in the fall though?
could be, yeah, for the fall folks, yeah, for sure.
Time has no meaning anymore.
That's right.
I feel you.
Well, if trends continue, then I would think that it might be a banner year for getting participation both by sponsors and people. I think just introducing a new event, people coming out of a pandemic situation. I would assume that the fair itself is expecting quite a bit of crowd this year.
Mhm.
Other than the 4th being on a Monday this year, which is always not the best day. They obviously like it when it's a weekend day, but yeah, other than that, I agree. More people coming out and doing stuff will be great.
Right, any other questions, comments before we look to set the next meeting? Okay, so I'll take a motion to set the next meeting to March 23rd at 7 p.m.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Is that during spring break?
Second.
Do you want to do it during spring break?
Who is that during the?
Oh, March 23rd is, yeah.
Yeah, I would not be available.
I
Can we
wouldn't
do
either.
it after that?
I retract my motion.
Yeah.
So what is that if we move a week after?
Yeah, the 30th, it was the next week of March.
Okay,
That work?
Worse.
okay,
Yeah,
So-
I'm available.
I'll make the motion. Do we have a second for March 30th?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor of March 30th at 7 p.m. Say aye.
Hi.
All
Aye.
opposed? All right, next meeting set for March 30th. And then last up, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion to adjourn.
Okay.
It's okay, perfect. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
Good luck.
everyone.
Thanks, everybody. It's good to see you.
Have a great night. Tracy, if you want to email me, if you get a list, just let me know when you want me to make those phone calls.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying that. I would love to do that.
Yeah,
So
I've got time.
Out of town now until Sunday and then hit the ground running next week. So I'll just keep you posted on what I'm doing and how far I'm going. I don't know anybody on the business development committee, but Scott, do you think that that's a good idea to reach out to them and get names or?
Yeah, I can talk with Eric tomorrow and get his take on it, but I don't see why not. Yeah, if we can get a list from him.
Everybody we reach out to, even if all they give us is 500, that I'd love to just pile up 500s, but I think we can get some good ones.
Yeah.
Great.
All right.
All right. Take care.
Thanks.